Who says that your best years are behind you? Welcome to The Fulfilled Woman, a safe space dedicated to real conversations about midlife, purpose, faith, clarity, healing, and the true essence of what it means to flourish. I am your host, Lady Chinye, the Midlife Reset Queen. Here, we believe that fulfillment comes not from doing more, but from living a life that is authentic, whole, and present, irrespective of the season of life that you are currently navigating. So join me, let's navigate this journey together. Midlife looks different for every woman. Some are married, some divorced, some widowed, and some single. Yet, too often, singleness at midlife is treated as something to explain, justify, or quietly endure. Today's conversation is about reframing the whole story without prying. We are here to talk honestly about identity, wholeness, and what it can look to live a full life as a single woman at midlife. I am joined today by Ms. Aisha Atta, a thought leader, a professional, and the one who is living intentionally and thriving solo in this season of life. My hope is that as you're listening, our conversations make you feel seen, heard, understood, and empowered. Thank you so much for the honor of your presence, Aisha Atta. It's an honor to have you here, and thank you for accepting to be our guest.
My pleasure.
On the Fulfilled. We've known each other for years and years and years, and you are one woman who I've seen and I've known you're thriving solo at midlife. So here's my first question. From your perspective, why do you think singleness at this stage of life is often framed as a problem rather than a legitimate season or a transition of life?
So it's cultural, it's social, and maybe to a certain extent it's religious. And the way society and culture has conditioned us is your 20s and your 30s, that's when you get married, that's when you settle down, and that's when, you go to the next stage of life. And then by the time you get to midlife, the children are grown to a certain area, to a certain age, and then, you get on with it. So anything that is outside the norm
of things,
we don't know how to handle, especially in a culture like ours in Africa. Single woman, never been married, never had children, then it's equals there's something wrong with you. I've heard people say things like, well, I'd rather a divorced woman or a single mother. It means somebody at least wanted her. So you have a lot of stigmas attached to being single. But you see, life is not the same for everybody. Everybody's path is different.
I often say life is a journey, and we all have our own paths to travel.
Absolutely. And if you keep looking at somebody else's life to validate yours, you'd have a lot of mistakes. But then if you're also looking at your life as the standard for everybody else to live theirs, then you begin to project onto them. Sometimes your fears, you feel uncomfortable. I think for a single woman, you go through maybe in your 20s and 30s, a lot of your friends are getting married and you're the single one. Then you're seen as a threat.
You're seen as a threat to the married ones. Wow.
Or a bad influence.
Wow.
So there's that. Then you get to a certain age where maybe your children should be looking after you, and people think you're going to be a burden to society or the people around because there's no husband covering you and there are no children, sort of like, in Africa, our children are life insurance plan.
We just had on the issue of financial security, the financial expert busted that myth. It's not so anymore.
Not for Gen Zs.
Not so anymore.
Gen Zs don't have time anymore. So there's that. And I think by no fault of culture or society, we're just programmed that way, that when you can't place a woman in a category,
in a box,
you either try to diminish her or you try and contain her. And that's literally what happens. You get it from both men and women. And it's sort of like a socializing. And the sad thing about it is, for some women, they take that on as their
They
identity.
take that on.
You
And it
hear
begins to
comment,
affect,
yes,
how they live. Yeah.
yes. You start shrinking and shrinking to fit the description or the expectation or the limitations is a better word of what society is dictating to how you should live your life. So I think that is where the problem
is the myths and the assumptions that are tied around, and this is because it's often said that our lives as women are in seasons and in transition. So you move from being single, you get married, and after married you have children, and after children and all of that. So anything that is out of that is a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
So let me say this, as I did say when I was introducing you. You are one woman who I've known for years, and I've seen you go through year after year your seasons and in transitions with confidence. And I was saying to somebody earlier, with a certain level of calm and confidence. Now, here's what I want to know, and I think somebody out there needs to know this. What would you say has helped you in your journey, to live above those assumptions and those stereotypes and those biases that society and you have not taken them on as a label and has affected the way you live your life?
So I think it's twofold.
Yeah, okay.
So you get your identity from your father. So fathers give us our identity.
So is this for women or for women and men?
For men and women.
Okay.
The father figure is who literally endorses or affirms your identity.
Wow.
And I had a father who, I was the first of 6. I was always called to the decision table. He listened to me, he gave me a voice, and then he protected me from, what are you still doing in this house? You need to go and marry. And yes, he protected me.
Critical.
So because he protected me, I didn't have that barrage to a certain degree, so he didn't wear me down. Secondly, I lived out of Nigeria for a season.
Wow.
So in a society like that, being single and not having children,
it wasn't,
it's normal for, the people who choose that, who make that choice. So I think those two helped. But the foundation of it all was tied through my faith. So my faith as a Christian woman, that my life, my calling, my purpose, my journey has all been pre-written for me and will play out according to the will of our Lord, and me cooperating and coming into agreement with that plan. So for every time that I had a crisis, I had many, trust me, the calm and everything. I had many messy moments where I was like, you know what, Lord, this is not working, okay? And so on and so forth. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was an anchor. It can be an anchor, but it can also be pressure. Because sometimes I find that even the church doesn't know what to do with single women.
At this age, at a certain age,
yes,
they don't know what
to do. So they don't know what to do with single women at this age. And I think the most important thing was finding myself and really coming to the Lord and saying, okay, what is your plan for me? I remember once upon a time when I even gave up on the whole. I said, okay, marriage, I don't think, sell by dates, it's not happening. And every time I get to that point, there would be a word of confirmation. Out of the blues, I would get a call from a friend of mine to say, I just had this dream about you and I saw you getting married. And I'm like, it got to the point I was like, God, this old proverb again. No, we're not doing this now. It hasn't happened by now. Why are we still? But I realized that his plans for us are his plans for us. Whatever deficiencies we have, whatever inadequacies we think we have, it has no bearing on his plans for us. And when we're ready to come into sync with that plan, then it will play out the way it's meant to play out. But I think God doesn't tell us everything.
He doesn't tell us
to protect us from self-sabotage, and also to protect us from the devil or our adversary sabotaging the plans. The real faith walk is just taking one step after the other and not knowing when this season is going to end or the next season is going to begin. But someone like me, I have a prophetic lean. or leaning or gift, I'll call it. So I would always know before a season of my life is coming. So I'll either have a series of dreams, or maybe a prophetic word will come, or I'll have an impression, or I'll be led to a certain part or certain character in the Bible, and I'm reading their story and I'm thinking, okay, why can't I move away from this person in the Bible? Why do I keep reading the story? And then eventually when things start playing out, I'll realize that, oh, that is so I could recognize that this is a season that I'm going through. So that has helped me. I journal a lot, so I'm able to track and plot my journey with the Lord. And honestly, when I say faith, that has been the most anchor, because sometimes you forget what the Lord has told you. You've forgotten the promises, the reassurance. And when I go back to the journals and I read the conversations, what I've jotted and all of that, I get sort of like the faith gets recharged again, and I'm able to continue. It's not an easy journey. I tell people, I came from a Muslim background into Christianity. So I tell people that Christianity is not for wimps. It is one of the toughest decisions and journeys you're ever going to take, because you're constantly having to go against what the world deems as normal. You will find that you will be, when he says the path is narrow, it really is. It is not. It's very different. And I think for me, I found out that I was the only Christian in my family. So I came into Christianity being the only person in a certain place. I would go to a certain meeting because I heard about it and I was interested in the speaker, but I didn't have anybody to call to go with. So I got used to just, okay, I want to do this, go ahead and do it. I want to travel, go ahead and do it. So
do you think that strengthened you in some way, or you?
So, and this is where it didn't happen by design. Well, let's say it happened by divine design, and it did strengthen me. So I was able to just get up and go, get up and take charge, get up and make a decision, and take a decision and go ahead with it. Even though if you asked me if I wanted chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, I could be very indecisive about things like that. Yes, yeah. But somehow it would be like, okay, this is the path, and I would stay there and be dogged about it. So I think that has helped.
So interestingly, from a psychological point of view, I know that sometimes our behaviors are driven from our mindsets and the things we're saying to ourselves. Yeah. So as you're on this journey, what are you saying to yourself? What is in your mind? As you're going, okay, I get up and go and do this, or when you find yourself in a place, and even those messy times, what are some of those thoughts, those minds, those things you say to yourself in those times that drive you and help you emerge
honestly,
at the other side? Yeah.
When you say what you say, I have a very loud, critical voice.
Really?
Yes, I am. A lot of it's something that I'm still dealing with, and. So I think for me, I get to the point where the journaling helps me just sieve through my thoughts. So I can go and have a lash out, write angrily, accusatorily, you haven't done this, I'm not happy with you, God, I'm not happy to be in this situation, and all of that. And after all is said and done, there's always that place you come to where it's like, okay, what is the right thing to do? You sort of like know the right thing to do. I remember when I used to get friends say to me, just go and have a child. Just go and have a child. Just go and have a child. And I had to be honest with myself and say, why am I having this child? Forget the other obstacles that you have to come through. So, Christian sister, you turn up in church with a big belly. How are you going to explain that? But why am I having a child? Because I feel lonely, which wasn't the case. I was the first of 6. I already have a whole range of children that I pretty much raised for my parents. Yeah. So why am I bringing another child into the world? What for? And I had to say it's for selfish reason. And is that fair? And to
satisfy society.
Yes. Is that fair to that child? Okay, if you really wanted to have a child, there's so many children that could be adopted. And for me, I'm what they call parentified. So the whole adoption thing was not really something I wanted to do. And when I sit back and I look, I think, I don't know what it is. There was a compass that kept pointing north. And it would waver, but it would come back to north. It would waver, it would come back to north. And I just kept following it. So it's, you have to have strong values.
Yeah.
Because every time I wanted to divert from the path I knew was the right path, there would always be the analysis to say,
why this?
Yes, and can you, at the end of the day, can you stand before the Lord and say, I have a reason why I did this? And I wasn't at peace with those decisions. And I thought, no, this is not me. This is not what the path I would choose for myself. And I know it's certainly not the path that the Lord is choosing for me. I have to say that I was dangerously close. And the first time
Dangerously close
to actually saying, okay, God, this is not working. I'm going to at least, let me give this a shot, and see what happens. Maybe because I don't want to wake up one day and regret not having this child. Maybe everybody else is seeing something that I'm not seeing.
You begin to doubt yourself. Yes. You're doing the right thing, particularly when you have many voices speaking. We do have many voices speaking to us. We have the voices of others. We have our own.
The pressures are there. I mean, even your own mother will be talking to you and saying, don't you know, so that at least you have children that will look after you when you're old. It's good to have at least one child of your own. Then she'll tell you this proverb and she'll sing this song and all of that and all of that. And your very close friend is also telling you, and I have to say that the first time in my life that I heard the audible voice of God was at that moment. And the voice said, Aisha, there are decisions that you will make and the ordinances will speak for eternity. And I knew he was saying, this path will take you totally out of my will for your life. This happened to me early 40s, because when you're in your early 40s, biologically, that is the last season yes. So I knew, I was like, okay, I've heard, Lord. And just to make sure that I didn't cross that barrier, because I was dating somebody and I was thinking, okay, maybe this might be. We go for dinner. And at the dinner table, he breaks up with me. And I come home.
Oh, really?
And I come home.
On his own?
On his own. And I come home.
My goodness.
And I'm like, okay, Lord, I know what you did there. You couldn't trust me with this one. So you had to send your angels to like, you know what? Let's take him out of the picture. Because so when you've had moments like that, and I've had a few along the road.
It does build your faith, doesn't it?
It does. And then it makes you realize that he has a plan for me, and not even I can mess it up. So, and by the way, I haven't given up on marriage.
Yeah.
But
life is a lively process of becoming.
I'm not panting after it.
You're not pausing your life.
I'm not pausing my life for it. I am living my life. I am enjoying having friends in different age groups, doing different activities. I used to go hiking, and most of the people on the hiking trail are a lot younger. I belong to a book club where I'm the oldest member of the book club. Every month we have a book, we'll read, we'll discuss, we'll have dinner. I would do the things that make me happy, whether it's travel with family and friends or sisters. Just do the things that make me happy. Find hobbies out there, learn a new sport. There was one time my friend and I enrolled in the French Institute to learn French. And I must say, I got pretty good at it for a while, for a season. But I found that sitting at home and feeling sorry for myself was the worst thing I could do. I also learned to be at home and be at peace in my space and comfortable in my space by myself, without feeling, I need somebody here. So for me, one of the things that also happened is when I moved into my space by myself, I enjoyed it so much because it'd been firstborn, looking after everybody
in the
family. So there's always people around me. So when I moved to Abuja and I eventually moved into my own place, I thought, wow, I have this exactly the way that I wanted, and this is my space. And for almost a year, I didn't have anybody come and stay because I was enjoying it. You know, and then I remember at one point I said, "You're going to have to open up your space. It's a blessing." And this is how it happened. A friend of mine calls me and she says, my sister's friend wants to come to Abuja, but she doesn't have anywhere to stay. Is it all right if she stays at my place? And I thought, she's a stranger. I don't know. I mean, it's different when it's
someone
family friend. And that day, I'm reading the scriptures, and you know the part of the Bible when it talks about when I was in prison, you visited me. And then I remember very clearly, you know, when the Lord highlights a word, it says, when I was a stranger,
you took me
in. And I just knew. I was you know. So I open up my house. I let people come and stay, and I do it deliberately because I don't want to get used to in my space and not being able to accommodate anybody else in my space, because those are some of the things that happen. You become so set, you know, you put something down, you don't want anybody to move it, you want it exactly how you want it. And I was raised by an OCD mother, so everything had its place. So in allowing, and I remember the first time I had a messy guest come and stay with me, I'd walk into the guest room and
see that.
oh my good. And the Lord used all these people to chisel
you out.
I'm telling you, polish, soften, you know. Yes. I'm still a work in progress.
Fantastic. You've really unpacked a lot of things, you know, about things that have helped you. No wonder you appear so calm and confident. Things that have helped you in your journey. You've talked about your faith, the upbringing aspect of it, and then the faith is a huge part of it, and then the things you say to yourself. So I'd like you to just, probably somebody's listening here and she doesn't have all of that support structures. You know, the upbringing, she doesn't have the benefit of the upbringing for where she's coming from, and probably is not even as strong in her relationship with God. You know, to understand when it is God that is speaking and when God is in the picture, and it's weak internally. So where would be the place to start from? Where do you start from? Is it the mind? Is it your relationship? Is it it could even be somebody of a different religion. Where would you say is the place to?
Okay, so I think no matter what no matter what faith we are, I think everybody is born with an understanding that they were created for a purpose or something. And it's recovering that sense of purpose. And the only person that can tell you what your purpose is your creator. And I tell people, start with a notebook. Just take every day, take an empty notebook, open it, sit down in a place and just pray and say, God, this is how I feel. I don't know who I am. In fact, this life is not making sense. It's not adding up. It's not, you know, I need you to step in and tell me. Even if you say, oh, I was watching the YouTube program the other day and I heard this woman, Aisha, say this. Is she speaking the truth? Do you have a plan for me? Do you have a purpose for me? I want you to show me. I want you to reveal it to me. Start there and start journaling. It's not going to happen immediately, I can tell you for sure. But within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, you will look at that notebook and you will see something. Now, there are moments that you have to go through. The depression is real, and sometimes you have to ride that storm and kill that black dog. I've been there, where I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to see anybody. I was just like, no, leave me alone in my space. And God will always, you know, God will send somebody. I get a call from a friend. It's like, what's wrong with you? Oh, I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. And he says, okay, I'll come and see you. And then he comes to our estate and he says, but I'm not coming up. I want you to come outside and come and sit down with me by the pool. Wow. Made me leave my house, sat down. After 2 hours of just talking, I sat down by the pool and everything, my legs in the water. That thing broke. That cloud of depression broke, and I was able to. And it wasn't, the depression didn't even come from single life. Just the usual Nigeria pursuing this thing
and then it
for
comes
6 months,
because
when everything seems like it's coming together, then it falls apart, and you're thinking, have I just wasted 6 months on this? And you're feeling down and all of that. Now, a lot of things could be happening. For somebody who had faith and maybe has lost hope, I would say, don't be far from God. Don't stay far away from God. Go back to Him and have that conversation. Don't be afraid to say what is on your heart. He's not afraid. He's not, there's nothing we're going to say to God that He's going to be shocked
so
and be like, this
thinking.
one is, this one, the angels come and drag her to the fiery furnace. No, he wept. That means he has emotions. There is no pain that we're going through that Jesus has not experienced. So we've got to be able to have that. Now, for those who don't have a strong faith walk, you need to have somebody you can go to and pour your heart out. Somebody that you know would not judge you. Somebody that would listen. Maybe it's just to let you vent. And when you finish venting, all they say, okay, it's all right.